I'm Natalia Shulkovskaya, interior designer, and I very often have to work on planning solutions for different living spaces. And in this video, I want to share with you some things you should consider that will help you when you're purchasing an apartment, flat, and condo. Also, if you look at these tips carefully and catch their essence, they will also help you with choosing a house. Let's get started. First of all, I advise you to avoid apartments which converge to a point. This can be bad for the buyer because no normal planning is possible from such premises. And I absolutely don't see the point of dividing such space into three and selling it as a three-room apartment, as in 2 free rooms, one of the walls will be a little wider than the door. It will be impossible to fit a normal bed, make ergonomic passages from furniture, most of which will have 90-degree angles and be square in shape. People who buy this type of apartments dream of more unusual and interesting spaces, but are actually buying very big problems. The planning solution in this space will be full of compromises, and nothing interesting can actually be done apart from solving many problems during the renovation. The second thing to avoid is the curved walls and walls with the sharp and obtuse angles. The more indoor corners and ready in a room, the more difficult it will be to make beautiful joints, the more complicated and expensive the built-in furniture will be, the more we will hate contractors for uneven trimming. We will demand things to be redone, and it will cause extra expenses, stress and time. It's therefore better to refuse such interesting variants in advance. The third thing that needs to be considered is the number of windows per square meter. Here, for example, 140 square meters and 3 windows. And here is the apartment area of 76 meters and 2 windows. And here is one of my projects where customers bought 76 meters and there were 3 balconies and 3 windows, total 6 openings with light. Look at how many possibilities this planning offers, and they are very comfortable and don't force to create dark spaces without windows. Huge footage and 2 free windows, this is a very bad deal for the buyer because it condemns him to life in poorly lit rooms or without any light. Rule number 4. The apartment must be divided into public and private zone. Then the guests will walk between the kitchen, the living room, the guest bathroom and not enter your private bedrooms or children's. From this point of view, the location, for example, of the bedroom between the living room and the kitchen is extremely undesirable. When entering the apartment, it is better that people first get into the kitchen, dining room or into the living room. With this arrangement, the guests, distracted by the food in the kitchen and the living room area, don't reach the private rooms and you don't carry packages from the supermarket and garbage through the whole apartment. Rule number 5. You can spend millions and buy yourself not an apartment but a large corridor with small appendixes. But why? Corridors should be no more than 20% of the total area of the apartment, or even less so. If possible, you should avoid thin, narrow and long corridors with preference to ones which are more square. Rule 6. It is better when the hallway is isolated. The most popular trajectory of the movement around the apartment from living rooms to the bathroom or to the kitchen and back. If on this trajectory there is an area where you take off your shoes, then your apartment becomes more dusty and the dirt will be spread faster throughout the house. Rule 7. Low ceilings. It is better to pay attention to apartment with isolated rooms and don't buy studios. With low ceilings, large studio spaces create a crushing impression, and I do not recommend taking such studios. Conversely, high ceilings gives the possibility of creating a second light or a second floor. I'm very curious about the problems you face in your country when choosing apartments. Write in the comments below and I will be happy to talk with you about that. Subscribe to the channel to communicate more often about design. Let's design!